3 years, 2,000 subscribers, and a redesign later. I just don't get it.
Why do I look so different here? Why does he get nice looking hair while I'm stuck with this stick? Why does he get a cool looking beard while I'm stuck beardless? Why does he get cool looking glasses? I can't see 2 feet away! Well, it may have taken an entire year and a lack of uploads, but I think I found my answer. Oh, fingers! Ooh, fingers. Beard could use some work, but it's still better than before. Whoa, I have a skin color? I gotta check something. Yes. So, what now? I got it! This is fewer than I thought. Over 2 years ago, when I yapped about my love for DVDs, I mentioned Bootleg DVDs in a very short section near the end. I kept this brief, because I knew I wanted to dedicate an entire video to these buggers eventually. They're so interesting and almost obsolete in our day and age. Think about it. In the age of the internet where piracy is a web search away, the idea of paying money for a worse viewing experience is almost unthinkable. It kinda goes against the entire point of piracy. Until you realize the audience for these things are completely different. I think when it comes to bootleg DVDs, the only reason you'd buy them is if A, the price for the official release is too expensive for you, or B, the movie hadn't released yet. And I think B is the most common one, no? Obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but for my family specifically, we always got these bootlegs after seeing a movie in theaters and wanting to watch it at home, without going back to the theater or waiting for it to end up on cable TV. Oh god, I'm gonna have to dedicate an entire video to cable one day, aren't I? But let's go back for a second. How do you even find a bootleg DVD? Okay, let me show you a step-by-step basis on how to get a bootleg DVD. Actually, no, let me show you how to make and sell bootleg DVDs. Step 1. Go to your local movie theater. Step 2. Smuggle a camcorder into whatever movie you're going to see.
Step 3. Record the entire movie with your camcorder, or for as long as you're able.
Step 4. Burn the footage onto a DVD. I don't know why I'm censoring this. I'm playing Geometry Dash. No, I'm just watching gameplay on YouTube. Step 5. Print out some really bad cover art for your slipcase. Step 6. Sell the DVD at a Mexican store in Stockton. Step 7. Survive the killing. This isn't because you committed a crime, it's because you live in Stockton. Step 8. Profit. People's experiences are going to be different, but for me, buying a bootleg was no different from getting any other DVD. Once again, furthering my point that this isn't about getting something for free or trying to pull a fast one on mainstream corporations, but rather, the demand outweighing the supply. Buying a bootleg DVD was as simple as going to the store, handing the DVD to the worker, and taking out your "oh god, the killers are back." Hell, a lot of these were sold in bulk. You weren't buying 1 for 8, you were buying 10 for 4. And considering the people making these were like, what, 17 at best? This must have been a super lucrative side hustle. I should have mentioned this at the top of the video, but so far, what I'm describing are Camrips specifically. There are many ways of bootlegging a movie. For example, Telesync is basically Camrip Premium, where someone inside the projection booth records a better rip of the film. This offers a way better viewing experience than just smuggling in your dinky camcorder in the back row. Though, like all Camrips, regardless of how fancy your equipment is, it will always look worse than just owning the film on Blu-ray. Now there are definitely bootleg movies that aren't just Camrips. Here's a ton I recently acquired that are the Blu-ray variety after all. However, the bootlegs I remember growing up with were so much simpler. Or so I thought. For you see, I was merely a child when I had these, and only tended to watch the kids' films. And apparently not all of them anyway. I don't remember anything about Kung Fu Panda 3. So when I grabbed all the bootlegs I could find, I was expecting nothing more than to see a bunch of movies filmed with a camcorder. And on one hand, I was right to think so. A majority of these are exactly what I imagined. So what's going on with these other two? Right off the bat you'll notice, these aren't right. Is that Mario? I generally don't know why the cover art looks like this. Some of these are so fascinating to me because a lot of them were created before official DVDs were released, so they only have fan mock-ups and movie posters to go off of. You're getting a sneak peek into what someone thought the DVD for a, at the time, new movie was going to look like. Isn't that cool? I'm a big fan of the Simpsons movie for having to use a screenshot from the teaser trailer as a backside image. There are 3 types of packaging I've seen these DVDs come in. The first type is trying to make it look as real as possible, i.e. it's long enough. I don't know where people get these DVD cases from because you'll never see them being sold officially. They're just so cheap and dinky and thin, the spine might snap if I look at it funny. Regardless, it's at least a bit sturdy unlike the other two. The second type gives the illusion of length when really it's just flimsy. I find this to be the worst of the three because it's ridiculously hard to get the DVD out of the case, and half of it is literally unnecessary, especially when the third kind exists. The third type are simple slipcases that are the size of the DVD itself. They have to sacrifice the box art's aspect ratio to make it fit the square, but the box art was already shot and killed months ago. Why is the Hulk here? I strangely have more nostalgia for this type of bootleg than the other two, which is weird because it turns out I own way more of the first two kinds than I thought. Regardless, once you open it up, you get this beauty. Plain DVDs with a title written on it with Sharpie. You're lucky if they even did that. Sometimes you get a few fun ones that have their own template over the DVD. This one is peeling off. Shout out to the ones that made their own cover. Kudos to them. Unfortunately, however, these are the outliers. All the other ones are plain. Something I learned while putting this together is that the type of case you get really doesn't influence the type of movie you're going to see. Some of the thin ones are largely high quality, while some of the normal size DVDs are, There's no consistency here, don't even bother. But the one thing that is consistent is the types of movies I found. First up, we have Camrips, the most common type of bootlegs I knew about, and the most common type you probably knew about. These make up the bulk of my collection, and yeah, I know enough stalling time to watch one of these.
You went through the woods.
Man, what did you expect? Because they're Camrips, you very much get the worst of both worlds. Sometimes there's a weird color filter, sometimes half the screen is obscured, sometimes the film is just blurry. Depending on where the guy shot the film, you might even hear the audience applause or laugh along.
Good morning, Teresa.
Good morning.
These are time capsules. I don't mean that as a joke, by the way. In its own weird way, this is film preservation. Without Camrips, we wouldn't truly know if a film had changed between its theatrical run and whenever it comes out on physical media. This sounds crazy, but movies do have a history of changing or altering specific moments. Just look at Star Wars. Every re-release is hell-bent on changing at least 5 scenes to make the 7-year-olds feel more schizophrenic. So without people breaking the law, the only way to even learn about this is if you saw the film in theaters and remembered this detail, or someone else remembers. But even then, without a camera or any tangible footage, you're going off word of mouth and trust me bros. The only other solution is praying the film leaks, which I guess isn't impossible. Isn't that right, the last act?
Well, we'll see.
Regardless, these are valuable. Even if they're blurry and only in 240p, what? Okay, for a bit of insight on me as a person. This is my first time properly owning a Blu-ray player.
My PS4 doesn't count.
Before, I would watch my movies using the Xbox 360 or a DVD player built into a VCR. Neither came with Cinevia. What's Cineva? Okay, Cinevia is an anti-piracy measure that can detect if a movie you're watching is bootleg through the audio. What the hell? Okay, so it broadcasts a pitch that can't be heard normally, but can be picked up by your Blu-ray player. And if the player can't read that information, it'll deem your copy a bootleg and give you an error screen. This is Skylander's Swap Force levels of wizardry I'm experiencing right now. Oh my god. This is cool on a technical level, but also does nothing but punish the consumer for buying a bootleg. I wonder how many people even bought a bootleg without knowing and then got hit with this. It reminds me of how Earthbound and Spyro could detect if a game was a bootlegged copy, and then proceed to ruin your life through making the game ridiculously hard until it gives up and resets your save file. Also, this seemingly isn't foolproof. I had to record a lot of B-roll for this, and only a handful of movies flagged me. Maybe I need to watch them in full for long periods of time, but some of these just aren't worth it, man. Anyway, half of these blew you straight into the movie, and you know what? I can appreciate this. They know what you're here for, just let me see the dang movie! However, some of the DVDs use custom menus that are I appreciate the sentiment of having a menu to give off the illusion of a better experience, but there's nothing special here. The most you ever get is a scene selection, which is valuable, I guess, I'll give them that. But there's not really much to be desired. Unless... These second type of DVDs are so strange in the sense that they listen to me. There is a way more thought put into some of these menus. It's like they actually browse Windows DVD Maker instead of using a template. Now you can still tell these aren't real DVDs, obviously, but the thought behind this is worth something to me. Another indicator is that the quality isn't terrible. These aren't cam rips. They're seemingly higher quality rips of the film. Well, not too high quality, but where did they get these from? Did they just search for a random film online and burn the 360 footage to a DVD? This is so utterly fascinating to me. It's the perfect middle ground. I will say, even then, there's still not much content to be found here. There's other images here, no doubt, and the music is going to make my ears bleed, but besides that, you won't get your special features or anything. At most, just an option to toggle the subtitles, which is way better than if they were burned into the screen. So, what's the third type? These ones are just real movies. They got the bonus features, captions, real menus, not whatever this is. Even the quality of the movie is high. What is this? I'm gonna be real, I didn't expect this. The movies I grew up watching were either real DVDs or the Camrips, and I was never gonna watch the live action films. I hate real people. So these took me completely by surprise. These are ripped DVDs, where you buy a real DVD, rip all the content out of it, and resell it for a cheaper price. This might be more illegal than Camrips. Am I gonna be arrested for this? You can tell they're legit because they have the FBI and anti-piracy warnings. Yeah, man, I'm totally obeying the law. It's so weird. Despite my memories only being of Camrips, I've owned DVDs that were just the real thing. I'm sure I've watched Alvin 4 through this method, but I just somehow forgot the quality was mysteriously not terrible. At least I can round out my collection. I don't know what else to say about these. They're bootlegs, but they're also just the actual film. What could I even say at that point? This one has the previews. Hi, Charlie Brown. I guess at this point I should just discuss anything silly I came across with these DVDs. The Queen is so weird because I can't tell if it's a camrip or if the official movie just looks like this. I mentioned this as a joke, but this prison music decided to blast it in the menus, and no matter how low I turn it, my ears are still bleeding. Stranger Than Fiction is a really good movie, but to my surprise, the special features are absent. In fact, everything here is. The only remains are the menus in the movie itself. A few other DVDs do this too, and if I had to guess, it was probably a byproduct of the ripper only choosing to rip out the bare essentials. Not all bootlegs do this. Here's a bootleg of Roger Rabbit, and wow, he was turned into a pig. Monsters University is a cracked disc, and to be honest, I don't know why I'm even showing this. There's no way it's gonna work. How? Aw, look at this cute little DVD cover drawn by a child. Surely this movie is as sweet as this makes it out to be. Oh my god. Why do I hear Obama? I own 2 bootlegs of The Croods. What is my life? Epic Movies' bootleg menu has artifacts and is corrupted, which kind of sums up this entire thing. It'll never fail to crack me up whenever I see piracy or FBI warnings on these type of DVDs. They kind of prove how useless they are in the grand scheme, like, wow, thanks for telling me about this crime I didn't commit. Notice how the bootlegs that aren't ripped from official DVDs contain no such warnings? Could you imagine if every time you legally bought groceries, you got a PSA against stealing printed on your receipt? Like, yeah, thank you, but I'm not the target audience. I'm not the one who ripped these DVDs. Some of the DVDs I own came with these little slipcovers that still haven't been opened. These are new, sealed bootlegs. There's something a bit satisfying when you open them up for the first time. It's like Christmas if it sucked. Wow, guys, I can't wait to see what I've been missing out on.
Don't say nothing at all, man. First of all, I'm not your man. But word you made out and imply I was funny.
Well, that went as well as could be expected, didn't it? Hmm?
While I was recording B-roll, I couldn't help but notice this bootleg for a direct-to-DVD movie had the bootlegger's watermark on the title screen, and I made it known in the B-roll itself.
Despite this being a rip of an actual movie, that logo is still, like, that couldn't have been a part of it. They went into the rip and added their own logo to promote themselves. That's such a funny little thing to do for a bootleg.
A haunted house's menu is in Spanish, but the film is in English, and this happens more than you'd think. Also, this movie is surprisingly funny. I didn't expect to come out of this with a watch list. The only other film that's probably on this list is this scene from this movie, because it got an audible laugh out of me when I was watching it. I just didn't expect it. Cool! You know, these movies are fun and all, but they're all from the 2000s or 2010s. Let's find some modern ones. Where did they go? Bootleg DVDs are effectively dead today. Like I mentioned before, with the internet allowing anyone to post anything they want, you can find Camrips for free just by searching movie-free no-download Reddit. Because they've relocated to a far easier place, and because theatrical windows are shortening, there's no real reason to buy a bootleg anymore. Movies are coming out on streaming sooner than ever before. And now, instead of paying a few bucks for a worse experience, you can just watch that worse experience for free. And since you're watching them for free, you can excuse the poor quality in advertisements. What did you expect? In fact, in our day and age, you can find higher quality rips of films, some that haven't been officially announced yet.
The age of blurry cam rips are behind us.
I feel like it's easy to blame this on the law, piracy crackdowns and whatnot. And I don't know if I can say this, but that's not what it is. If the government wanted to crack down on cam rips, they would have done so a long time ago. Cam rips have been a staple of the movie watching experience since they invented the VHS. Having those FBI warnings on official DVDs don't really do anything, but scare you into thinking they're gonna do something. This applies to today too. If they wanted, they could so easily snap their fingers and get rid of all those funny piracy sites you use to watch whatever you want. For whatever reason, they just don't. Or if they do it at a snail's pace. The reason why bootleg DVDs died off wasn't because you were technically breaking the law, they just naturally fizzled out over time. Like real DVDs, put the gun down. Overall, bootleg DVDs are a bygone experience that only a select few still remember. While they were never great experiences, and I won't pretend like they were, they are oddly nostalgic, and I do have fond memories of watching Moana at home before the movie came to DVD and falling asleep halfway into the film. And hey, putting together this video even showed me that not all bootlegs had to be 140p camcorder experiences. Who could have thought? While bootlegs may be effectively dead, their legacy certainly is not. And you know, maybe it's for the best. With how the economy is going, people just can't afford to drop $4 on 10 movies that all look terrible anymore. Especially when you can get the same experience for thousands of movies for free. And most of them will be high quality.
You're under arrest for owning and encouraging the crime of piracy.
What are you gonna do to me?
Deport him to Stockton.
I should talk about Mario.